I am so excited to share with you today a system that I discovered that helped me to feel more at peace with my body, but also to step towards the best or a better version of myself. What I found was by implementing this knowledge, I was able to improve the quality of my sleep, have better energy throughout the day, and also allow my body to settle towards its more optimal weight. I'm really excited to share with you how that makes me feel and hoping that it might help you as well. So the system I wanted to share with you today is called Ayurveda. Ayurveda is an ancient holistic healing system. It has a 5,000-year history and is basically known as the science of life. So this system has been used through India and other parts of the world to help us to understand how our bodies actually work and to support the body in the best way that we can. Ayurveda identifies that we're not all exactly the same, that not all things are going to suit everybody, and there are 3 main doshas. But first, we need to explore that there's actually 5 elements that make up everything in the world. So the 5 elements are earth, fire, water, air, and ether, or space. And we have the 5 elements in everything in our environment as well as in our own bodies. And the 5 elements are also influencing not only our physical body, but our emotional body and our mental body, or our mind space. So what we do with those things and the way that we nurture our body influences how this vehicle operates, this sheath that we're wearing through this life space. And then that's how we can promote the health and the longevity, as well as to give it balance so we can move through life with ease. Breaking down those elements, we get 3 doshas. We can identify with 1 or 2 of those doshas as the more dominant dosha in our bodies. This is a way that I think we miss in our society nowadays, that we're kind of told that we all meant to conform to this certain style of body shape, but we're not all meant to be the same. So the sameness is that we all have the 5 elements in our body, but the difference is we have those elements in different levels or different percentages, and that's what makes a difference to how our body operates and works. So when we're exploring this, identifying which dosha you're more dominant in will help you to understand how to look after your body better. So with the doshas, there's 3 doshas, and each have their own elements that are more dominant in that dosha. So with Vata, there's air and ether. So you'll find that those people are more light-framed and quick responding. You might identify people that you know that seem like that in their bodies. So then there's the Pitta, and they have the fire and water element. And they are more in a more muscly body, and they are can be quite driven. And then you've got the Kaphas, and Kaphas have got the elements of earth and water, and they're more curvy bodies and have more of a easygoing and kind of gentle, solid kind of grounding. So when you identify which dosha you are, or which one is more dominant in your body, we actually have all 3 doshas in our bodies because we have all 5 elements in our bodies. The idea is to find out which one, or usually there's 2, that are more dominant than the 3rd one. So there's a way to kind of focus on that and to find that out. Looking at Vata first, we have the elements of air and ether, and this is the energy of movement. So these people will be light-framed generally, and they move quickly. People that are more likely to enjoy athletics and those kind of activities, they are people that might find it difficult to put weight on. It's the movement, it's the energy of how they're moving through space, and you want that to be with ease and flow. So when these people are struggling with balancing their dosha, then they might find that they are a little bit spacey, that they're a bit out there. They have anxiety and worry, or fears start to overwhelm them on that mental layer. And then in their bodies, they can get a bit constipated. And of course, with constipation or dry skin, all of those things, when you think about what air or what wind does, will influence this dosha the most. So it's drying for the skin, it's constipation, it's those kind of course, gas. Those kind of things can make a difference to how a vata will feel in their body. So ways to help with that is to look after their nourishment. So making sure that they're not eating food that's going to be even more drying for their body. So having warming and nourishing foods, and to also choose activities that will help to keep them grounded, because when you think of the energy of movement, it's out there and moving. So you're wanting to help them to be grounded and come back into their bodies. So now we move on to Pitta, and Pitta have the elements of fire and water in it. And when you think of those elements, you know it's about transformation. And metabolism is a big thing for this, because that's what fire does, the element of fire. So if you think about the sun, for instance, then you're thinking about heat and intensity and light. It's very mobile as well. So when you're thinking about those kind of people with the most dominant dosha of Pitta, then you'll find that they have got more of a muscular body, and they may struggle with weight, either losing weight depending on what their diet is like, or putting on too much weight. So they kind of can flow in both directions. They can have issues with digestion, because of course when we're talking about the fire, then that's exactly where the fire element sits in the body, is that digestive fire. So you can have that nausea or reflux issues and inflammation in the body. And the other thing is, when they're in the headspace of that and it's not balanced, they can get too far into burnout or chronic fatigue syndrome, those kind of things. So for Pittas, what they need to do, because of when you're thinking about the fire, think of a fire, it's really fast and mobile, and it's a rising and spreading energy. So what you're wanting to do is to cool that energy down. So you're going to eat cooling foods, avoid spicy foods. Alcohol and coffee are not great for Pittas. Although the element can also help, the coffee element can also help to ground them back in. So it just depends on where they're at. Anything that's going to help to cool their bodies and help them to contain their energy. So food that's definitely still nourishing, lubricating, but as well cooling and with high water content. So with the Kapha, they can have wider hips and shoulders and be more of a curvy shape. They might find it more challenging to lose weight. With their bodies, they're more stable and grounded. If they are a little bit out of balance in their bodies, then there might be a bit more congestion in their bodies and a little bit more stickiness, have a bit more mucus and things like that. For their mind space, then they're fun-loving and reliable and really gentle in their energy. And if they are out of balance in that mind space in this dosha, then they can become more stubborn and hold on to grudges and even lean into depression. So ways to help to balance this dosha is to choose foods that are more lightening for the body and more drying. So you're wanting foods that don't have as much water element to it. They can definitely have some spicy foods that helps to increase the energy in their body, and also making sure that they're not having too much of the oils and fats and sugars that are heavier and also structure building. So it's about changing which way they lean in their bodies and for their food choices. Also with their physical activities, the idea is to move this body through space because it needs to move. Otherwise there can be that lethargy and kind of just get a little bit flat, and of course that does not help with finding optimal weight that way. So what I've just shared with you are 3 doshas, but very generalised information about each one. There's a lot more information that you can unpack to get to know who you truly are, what your true nature is, whether you've identified with one of those, whether the Pitta is your type, whether the Vata is you, you're aware that you're out there running around, or whether you're a Kapha who feels like you're just really holding space for people, then the idea is to really lean into supporting that dosha, to bring it into balance. When you work on the qualities of that dosha and help it to come to your center, you'll find that you lean towards your true nature. You have great sleep, that you have energy that gets you through the day without the coffee and the chocolate, and as well that your weight will move towards its optimal level, because that's what your body will know how it is nourished. So if any of this resonates for you and you want to know more, I'd love to hear from you.